What's the deal, everyone? Welcome back to the studio. I'm Jeremy Deal, and I know I'm probably super late to the topic matter, but today I'm gonna tell you my favorite A7 IV hacks to get the best out of your camera. Or, to be a little more accurate, I'm gonna show you how to set up your camera to help you reduce the stress you have on site trying to remember every little freaking thing. Let's get into it. All right, I've taken a moment to collect myself and relax. It's been a long day. Just so you know, I'm actually filming this with my old GH5S. I wanted to show you some of these features in action with the A7 IV in hand. Man, look at that. Do you see that? I dropped something on my face when redoing the studio roof, and now I've got this big gash. How annoying. So, the thing I'm gonna tell you about first, I wish I'd have known about when I first got this camera. I don't know if it was a firmware update, but thank you, Stefano Lombardo, for letting me know it exists. And that's the emphasized recording display. I just press record and I'll show it to you in person. This option takes the border of your screen and turns it red whenever you're recording video. So instead of that one super tiny little red record toggle on the corner of the screen, you now have a very prominent way of knowing that you are recording. This takes a huge stress out of me because this is something that I've had big issues with in the past with this camera. Having the equivalent of a full screen notification that you have indeed pressed that record button and the camera is in operation has saved me hours of stress and replaying footage on site just to make sure I got every single room. This is the best one of these tips, so I had to put it first. If you want to set this up on your camera, just follow this menu order. First thing, make sure you're in video mode of the camera because the option will not appear in photo mode. Next, go to your red shooting menu. Scroll down to what's currently number 11, the shooting display. There, to the right, at the bottom, you'll find the emphasized recording display. And if there is one thing you do after watching this video, this should be it. The next thing I'm going to talk about is actually what I think is the handiest hotkey you can set up, the APS-C crop mode. If you did not know about it, this camera can take both full frame lenses and APS-C lenses. So it has a crop mode built into it. So when it recognizes that APS-C lens, it automatically adjusts to correct the output. So you don't see that big black vignetting when using those smaller lenses. Well, you can actually kind of use this system and save this as a hotkey to use with your full frame lenses. It gives you a little extra reach without actually having to change that lens. For example, real estate, I shoot with the 12-24, but I can also shoot the same lens in APS-C mode and have roughly a 18-36, I think. This little extra boost in distance comes in handy all the time for real estate in particular, but also in just about every other type of photo shoot or video work I do. Personally, I've had it remapped to my auto exposure lock to serve this purpose because really I never use that. But another thing I love about this camera is the fact that you can remap everything on it. You truly can customize it to operate the way you wish. That is one of my favorite things. Now, if you want to set this up, just like me, you can follow these steps. Open up your menu, scroll down to the yellow setup menu. Go to what is currently the third option down, Operation Customize. From there, it just depends on what shooting modes you want it available on. I personally changed my AEL on both the custom photo and custom video modes to be the same, but you should change it to whatever you feel makes the most sense for your shooting procedure. Now for an easy one you do probably know about, or at least have heard about, the anti-dust setting for your sensor when you shut off the camera and change lenses. I know there's a mixed bag of emotions out there on YouTube as to if you should or should not have this turned on, but I do, and I've not had any issues with it yet. If you want to turn it on again, go into your menus. Yellow setup menu again, and this time scroll all the way down to what is currently option 13. There you should find it to the right as your second option down. All right, y'all, now I've saved the most complicated or time-intensive hack for last, and it's not so much a hack as it is a huge time saver for constant shooting scenarios, and it's all about your custom dial mapping. I introduced one of these earlier on in the episode, so this is just where we're gonna do some deep digging into some of the benefits and flaws here, including how and why I have my own personal dials set up the way they are. This is where I take a moment to shamelessly promote myself and this channel. This video has no sponsors, and if you want to help me out, it would be awesome to get a like on the video. And if you like my style, then a sub to the channel would be bodacious.
Very bodacious.
Old school lingo there. If you want to support me more than just a like, you can join my members program where you get access to full video edits, like real estate video edits right now there's a bunch of, and more detailed and honest opinionated stuff I can't really put out here in the public sphere. If you want something cool to hang in your house, you can check below my award-winning bodyscapes, my digital art, and lastly, you can use affiliate links. Take some money out of Bezos's pocket and put it directly in mine by simply clicking an Amazon link before you make a purchase. You don't even have to buy what I've linked. I get a small commission from the stuff you buy after I send you there. And honestly, it's the easiest way for you to support the channel's growth because it gives me a cut of what you were already spending without taking an additional penny from your pocket. Now, with that over, back to the topic matter. Now, before you go setting up these dial features, there are some things you should know that I don't hear others talking about. Whenever you map one of these dial settings, it will map every single camera setting you do or do not have turned on at the time. If you forgot to set up that emphasize record option I mentioned earlier and you set your dial, then whenever you turn it to that option, it will not be on. All right, let me give you an example from my camera in particular. The place I use this camera the most for video work right now is right here in this studio. It's what I'm usually recording these videos with. Now, that's not saying I don't use it other places or for other purposes, but this is just the one place that's the most constant using the same lighting and color tones. When I switch the dial on here to video mode, then to option 1, that is the studio setting. The audio level I had set at the camera at the time, level 1, will automatically go back no matter what it was set in manual mode. My white balance will always go back to 5200 no matter what it was set at, again on manual mode. And the big kicker here is that you can only set custom white balances in the manual mode. This kills me. Originally with this camera, I thought I would set number 1 for studio set, number 2 for 60 frames a second, and number 3 for 120 frames a second. So I'd be prepared for every scenario without having to flip back and forth through all the menus all the time. The problem with this situation is, unless you only shoot in auto white balance mode, all of these modes will be set to whatever your white balance was set to when you originally configured these dials. And again, I'll go back to the fact that you can only set a custom white balance on manual dial mode. So I had to change the way I thought about all of these dials and the way I use them. I mean, because I don't use auto white balance on anything. Now, there are very specific scenario dials instead. 1 is for studio, 2 is for my office, and 3 is for my buddy Josh's office where we do shoot a lot of things. Everything else is shot in manual mode because you can adjust your auto white, well, not your auto. Everything else is shot in manual mode because you can adjust your white balance properly in any of those custom dial modes. Just something to think about when configuring these dials. That means I could never use a preset custom dial for real estate work because my workflow requires me to take a custom white balance of every room before I shoot it, and that would be impossible under the one of these custom dial settings. Now, after that spiel, I've said it all out. I'll teach you how to actually set these things up. And the very first thing you want to do is go into your manual dial mode. Now, you want to figure out every single setting you want, from aperture to shutter speed, white balance, audio levels, emphasize recording display, and picture profile. Literally every setting you can think of. And once you have all those set up, we can continue on. Make sure you're in the shooting mode you want to set up, photo or video dial, and go into your menus. Go once again into your red shooting menu and go down to what is currently option 4, the shooting menu. And you will see a few options. The ones you'll want to pay attention to are the camera set and camera recall. The camera set option is what will allow you to take your current camera settings and place them under a specific dial setting. The recall option here will let you pull up what your current setting is for the mode you are under in case you want to see what you have set and make any adjustments accordingly. Y'all know the spiel again. Like and subscribe, use affiliate links, all that jazz. Keep rocking and rolling, enjoy what you're doing, make smart business decisions, and let me know in the comments down below if any of these were helpful or maybe something new that you'd not seen or heard of before watching. Catch you next time. Oh yeah, no autofocus on this one.